Okay, the prep time has expired, and the motion before this House is this House to ban negative campaign. And without any further ado, I'd like to call upon the Prime Minister to open your case within 7 minutes. Here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So we believe, under the current situation, the negative campaigns sway the people's opinion to the politics, and so it is very harmful. That's why we are happy to propose this motion. So I have 3 points to talk about. Number one, why negative campaigns sway the people's will to the policy, and how it is harmful to the citizens. And number two, how after taking this plan, citizens won't be swayed, citizen decision won't be swayed, and so how it is beneficial. And number three, so why government have the legitimacy to ban the negative campaign. But before moving to my argument, I have 3 points as a model and definition. So number one, so this house is all over the countries. And number two, so the negative campaign is especially for the elections of the and so forth. And number three, so the negative campaign means the truth, but especially the negative private affairs, so which disincentivize the peoples to vote to the candidates, such as the love relationship or about the families problem and so forth. Okay, so let me move on to my first point. So we believe under the current situation, the negative campaign sway the citizens' citizens' opinion to the policy. Why that? Because I have 2 reasons. Number one, so the other candidates try to broadcast a negative campaign, so they're exaggeratory because they want to kick out the others candidates from the election because they want to be the politicians. And number two, the citizens don't have enough ability to judge the information about the candidates critically because the candidates citizens citizens don't know about the candidates. What is the true characteristic? Because they have no experience to meet them, and so that's why the citizens have to get the information about the candidates only from the media and so forth. And so that's why if the other candidates broadcast such kind of negative campaign, no thank you. People think for example, the media broadcast about the ability of the other candidates. So the citizens immediately think that he is not appropriate to the politicians and so forth. And for this reason, the citizens will ignore what kind of political values the candidates have, or what kind of the manifest the candidates have, and so forth. And so citizens are focused on the such kinds of negative private affairs and so forth. And that's why how it is harmful. So that even though the citizens need the policy to have the child raising, and the candidates have the manifest. Actually, so the candidates have the manifest to have such kind of child raising, and so they have the ability to realize that. So even though because of the negative campaign, such kind of citizens hesitate to vote such kind of candidates, and so such kind of politicians, such kind of candidates are not elected as the politicians, and so that's why the citizens citizens' opinion cannot be reflected, and so that's why citizens' need is not so realized, and that's why it is harmful to the citizens. Okay, let me move on to my second point. So, we believe after taking this plan, citizens' decisions won't be swayed by the negative campaign. Why? Because so without the negative campaign, so the citizens won't be such kind of citizens won't get prejudiced to such kind of the candidates, and so they don't focus on such kind of negative affairs, and they have the capacity to judge what kind of policy they need and so forth. And that's why after taking this plan, citizens can show the political opinion without being swayed by the negative campaign, and so citizens can the possibility to realize the policy citizens really need is so increased, and so that's why it is very beneficial. Okay, let me move to my third point. So, why government have the duty to ban the negative campaign? So we believe the government have the legitimacy to ban such kind of negative campaign because the government have the duty to guarantee the environment where the people can show their opinion rationally. I have two reasons. Number one, so the politics is essential for the citizens because the politics is directly connected to the citizens' life and so forth. And number two, so this debate is about the liberal democratic countries, and so in such countries, so that based on the citizens' opinion, so the politicians, the government decides how to. So they decide the politics and so forth, and that's why the citizens' opinion is absolutely things to the politics, and that's why the government have to guarantee the rational citizens' opinion to the politics. So, for example, under the constitution, the government they guarantee the secret voting because the others of people's voting have the possibility to sway the other people's opinion and so forth. And so we should follow this analogy. And so as I clearly told you, so negative campaign have the possibility to sway the people's opinions to the politics. And that's why the government have a duty to ban the negative campaign. That's why we are happy to propose.
Okay, I thank Prime Minister for your remarks. Next, I'd like to call for the Leader of the Opposition to open your case within 7 minutes here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we strongly believe that negative campaign is one type of criticism and it makes society more better. We think a government should protect the right to speech, so this motion is over-sensitive. Of course, too radical speech should be banned, example, without evidences or completely denial personality. But we think negative campaign is necessary to make society better. I'd like to talk about two things in my speech. First, I will talk about why status quo is better, and secondly, I will talk about why after taking this plan will worse. Government side said but including our parliament, my partner will revert to the government side details. So I want to moving on to my argument. My first argument is why status quo is better and it's okay. So because as I said in my introduction, status score is okay because negative campaign can roll keeping a watchful eye so that there will be no wrongdoing and injustice. Example, now many companies making a new product, there are keeping watch the other company doing wrong because if finding other company making wrong and the company have a very serious candidate, and if the company finding them and they can knock out the other company, so many companies carefully each other and keeping what for eyes each other. So the company careful making and taking the sending the product to the market. So students can buy more and more useful product. So student score is no problem and on the contrary beneficial. So, and I want to moving to my second argument. My second argument is why after taking this plan will worse. So negative campaign is one type of criticism, so it is necessary to make society better, as I said, because if criticism fade away from society and do wrong and corruption must be more serious. So example, one politician doing injustice, but if we take this motion, so we ban or negative campaign, including one type of criticism, and rival politician will be afraid if I will be seen as doing negative campaign. So one person will be very, very afraid, and the politician can't doing negative campaigns, and criticism will be afraid negative campaign, and they can not doing criticism too. So there is very, very serious, very, very afraid. So criticism will be afraid by many person. It is politician and ordinary people and many companies too. So it must be worse to the society because many kind of them will be afraid and they can't pick up the society's fault and so on. So it must be wrong. So So as I said, status quo is no problem. Repeat my stance is no thank you. Our stance is we don't advancing criticism without evidences and completely denial personality, but one type of negative campaign, one type of criticism must be make more good society. We strongly believe that, so we happy to oppose And so, thank you.
Okay, I thank the leader of the opposition for your remark. Next, I'd like to call for member speaker from the side affirmative to extend your case within 7 minutes. You hear?
Mr. Speaker, negative campaign like private affair or family situation or how many relationship candidates have is not necessary for citizens' rational decision. And if they choose a politician who do not have good political idea, they get harm from their election. So that's a problem under the status quo. So that's why we are standing this side. Okay, I have mainly two questions. First one is that I'd like to suggest you deeper analysis about what kind of people will be affected by the negative campaign. And second question is that as a government, why we have legitimacy to do that? Before moving on my argument, I have two rebuttals towards the opposition side. Firstly, they say that negative campaign is one kind of form of critics, but it's not true because already there are some environments that people discuss about politics, and this environment is without negative campaign. And it's enough for citizens to see, for example, a wide show or such kind of TV program that many professors come out and many, it's based on the rational discussion. So it's not true. And secondly, they said that negative campaign will create better politics and better for citizens. But it's not true because in the first place, critics and the negative campaign are completely different. Actually, critics is critics based on the rational information, for example, policy or economics or such kind of things. However, negative campaign never based on appropriate political sphere. So that's a problem. So that's why we have to ban the negative campaign. So, moving on my argument. Firstly, I want to explain you about what kind of people will be affected by the negative campaign. There are some people who really know about the politics and people who can carefully calculate their feelings, and they can choose the best politician for them. But actually, such kind of people are really limited under the status quo. And also, other people, others cannot. On the other hand, others cannot critically think about politicians, and they cannot judge rationally. So actually, they are really sensitive about negative campaign. And they are influenced by distorted information. For example, today a lot of people are really concerned about entertainment news or gossip about the really famous actor or actress. So in the same way, they will be affected by such distorted information. And then, if there are good politicians who have proper manifest, they do not focus on that kind of good side. So the politicians who have good manifest or really proper political idea will never be elected. So in this case, they cannot provide the good policy and, for example, sustainable policy. So that's why citizens will get harm from their election. So that's why negative campaign is very harmful and very damage for the citizens. Okay, moving on my second argument. Why, as a government, why we have legitimacy to do that? Because the government should remove the things that citizens cannot calculate properly, because the government guarantees the environment that citizens can voice out without colored view or biased view. For example, today the government banned graffiti on the politicians' poster. So because government do not want citizens to be affected by such irrational graffiti, so that's why the government have to protect the citizens from such negative campaign or irrational graffiti, which describe the not unnecessary information for the election. So that's why the government have the legitimacy to take this motion. Okay, I'd like to compare the both sides. After taking this plan, we as we already explained, we can remove the negative campaign and citizens can calculate without the negative campaign. But the opposition side is says that negative campaign is one kind of the critics, but as I already told you, the critics and the negative campaign are completely different. So that's why we are happy to propose this motion. Thank you.
Okay, I thank the remark from the member speaker of side affirmative. Next, I'd like to call for member speaker from the side opposition to extend your case within 7 minutes here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the government side continuously told you that the rationality is the important criteria of the such kind of politics or so forth. However, we cannot see what is the rational things in the case of politics. They told you that in the case of politics, they are based on the economy or so forth. However, we believe that there may be some people there are some people that information coming from the negative campaign are also the one kind of criteria. That kind of people are also exist in the status quo, we believe. So in these cases, we are very happy to stand in this side. Today, I'm going to compare which paradigm is better for the based on the citizens. So all rebuttals, so including in my speech. Let me move on to the our argument. So, firstly, we believe that, as my partners already told you, we do not encourage or force to do the negative campaign. However, we believe that this is the one kind of criticism or the one kind of saying the opinion or showing the stance to the citizens in the status quo. So it is important. However, ladies and gentlemen, what the government side told you is like this. the citizens are have not rational thinking, or they will soon judge it from such kind of negative campaign or so forth. However, we believe that kind of things are not true. This is because we believe that the negative campaign we concede that has a big power to the citizens. However, it means that it can be the one step to the citizen to interest to the such kind of politics or so forth. So in these cases, this kind of negative campaign, maybe basis on the gossip or so forth, can be the one step for the citizens to get into such kind of politics. This is very good things for the citizens, because in the status quo they are if we take this motion, the more people or more citizens will be less interest from the such kind of policies. This is because maybe they feel like the politics is very difficult for them because they don't have much knowledge about that or so forth. So in these cases, it is very effective for them. And moreover, we believe that the politicians have an incentive to vote it. So in these cases, they have a feeling that they wanted to hear the citizens' voices. So in these cases, the government side told you that after taking this plan, the citizen can voice out what is the really necessary, or the politician will hear what is necessary for the citizen. That point is not mutually exclusive. This is because even under status quo, the politicians have an incentive to vote it. So in this cases, that in our paradigm, we can achieve both things, that the citizens' incentive to interest to go to the voting, and also the necessary things, policy for the citizen. And moreover, we believe that as the government told you, if after taking this plan, the citizens will rationally think and they will rationally vote or so forth. However, of course, the negative campaigns advertisement has a lot of impact or power to the citizens. However, we believe that also the policy advertisement has somehow exaggerated from what is a good thing, what is the good thing for that policy is, or so forth. So in this case, it's not only the negative campaign, but also even after taking this plan, such kind of policy advertisement has somehow exaggerates the things for the policy. So in this cases, there's not much difference from that. So in this cases, we believe that to compare both paradigm, in our opposition paradigm, we can hear the citizens' voices, and as my partners already told you, the politics will be much cleaner in our paradigm. This is because the government side told you that in the definition, the criteria of the negative campaign is based on the truth. So in these cases, we believe that the negative campaign are based on truth. So in these cases, the citizen wanted to hear what the real personality is, the politician's personality is. So in these cases, this kind of negative campaign is also effective. And to see the realistic, in the status quo, the most of the politicians are especially in the Japan, they are quit. This is because of not only the policy, but also the gossip or the other kind of criteria, so forth. So in these cases, we believe that such kind of negative campaign are really help for the citizens to judge what they are. So this can be a very help for the citizen to choose rationally in the status quo. Okay.
If citizens can get interested in politics, do you think any type of negative campaign, including lying, is okay? Right.
Lying. Based on your definition, we are only allowed that this is based on truth or based on some kind of evidence. So such kind of lying cannot exist. And moreover, if such kind of radical negative campaign exist, this is the one the citizen can be criticized about that. This is because if such kind of radical things are occur, the citizen feel that it is a not good personality, or that politician has not good personality, or so forth. So in this case, that response or that negative campaign has a one kind of criteria or one way to judge about their personality or so forth. So in this case, is that kind of that kind of things are very effective, or the one criteria. So we believe that our paradigm is much better. Thank you.
Okay, I thank the remark of member speaker opposition. Next, I'd like to call for leader of the opposition again to summarize your case within 4 minutes. Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we strongly believe that negative campaign is one kind of criticism and it makes society more better. And we don't encourage negative campaign without evidences and the complete digital personality. So. And in my speech, I will tell you why we won based on 2 crashes. First crash is status quo. Actually, status quo have a serious problem. And secondly is which is more harmful point of view in the long term. Okay, I want to moving on my first explain first. So we can understand the government say that person will be did negative campaign will be unhappy, but we can think change. So it is a chance to check back point in the election and elections. So we think it is a very important point. Keeping an environment that point out problem is very important. So that actually elections and politics problem, because politics problem. So we think status quo don't have a serious problem, but will be better. Will be status quo is better, and I want to moving on my second point, and which is more harmful point of view in long term. We can't negative campaign, and in the situation of elections, there will be afraid picked up the problem. Example, the other politicians and justice too. So saying in long term, citizen long term politics will be must be bad. So we think citizens are taking more serious. More serious. So comparing status quo and after taking this plan, we think status quo is more better than to take this plan. So we're happy to oppose. Thank you.
I thank the leader of the opposition for your reply. Next, I'd like to call on Prime Minister May to finalize this debate within 4 minutes. Here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, again. So firstly, let me point out the two failures of the opposition side. So today's opposition side explained that after taking this plan, so by the banning the negative campaign, so this other citizens or company get afraid and so forth. But they didn't explain that, so how it is harmful and so forth. So they didn't explain such kind of things, and also they never explained that. So what is the legitimacy to ban to allow what is the governmental legitimacy to allow such kind of negative campaign and so forth. Okay, so I have one big clash points in this debate. So then with paradigm, so that citizens can realize their true political opinion and so forth. And so this opposition side explained that after taking this plan, so more and more people are interested in such kinds of politics and so forth. But so they never explain that how they are interested in by just the negative campaign and so forth. And also, even if so that they are interested in such kinds of interest in politics by such kind of negative campaign, so that we think so that such kind of people won't go to the go voting to the elections, because even under the current situation, so the government tried to expand the education to go to education and politics campaign to incentivize to go to politics. But so even under the current situation, so many people are not going to go to the politics, because so the going to the politics itself is a trouble things to them and so forth. So we think even if just because of the interested in for the gossips, so that they are not incentivized to go to the go voting, and so they never. And also they never explain such kinds of mechanism to go voting and so forth. And also we believe even if so they are interested in such kinds of they are incentivized to more people are incentivized to go to the politics. We believe in the long term in the paradigm is better, because even in their paradigm such kinds of people who are incentivized to go voting so they incentivized just because they are not just because they are interested in. They are not interested, so just because they are interested in the gossips, and so they are not interested in the politics itself, and that's why so they are not they cannot consider so the what is a good what kinds of policy they really need, or what kinds of policy and they don't consider so the what kind of political values the candidates have and so forth. But in that paradigm, in the long term, so that even so that in that paradigm, so that fewer people are interested in voting without a negative campaign, so that they have, as I clearly told you, so that they are so have the capacity to think about what kinds of policy they need or what kinds of political values so the candidates have and so forth, and that's why so that they can in a parliament some people can judge about the candidates rationally. That's why we are happy to propose.
I thank Prime Minister for your reply. Now all speech is over. お疲れ様でした。